With 2020 being the last year of the current generation, welcome to Get Indie Gaming, where in this video, our first of the new year, we're counting down the best 10 looking indie games coming out this January 2020. At number 10, and something early doors to grab your attention, Coffee Talk sees you play as a barista at a coffee house from an alternate reality Seattle. Here, human customers mix together with fantasy creatures such as elves, orcs, dwarves and others, all in what at times feels a slightly strained coexistence. We had time with a 15 or so minute demo late towards the end of last year and found it really rather charming. As could be expected, it feels all rather low-key and relaxing with a chilled-out soundtrack, with beautifully rendered pixel art and exquisitely pulled-together character animations. As for the game, well, it's best coming at Coffee Talk with a view of it being a visual novel where story sections are interspersed with scenes where you deliver your customers tailored drinks according to their individual tastes. Given the size of the inventory you have at hand, there's plenty for your creative side to get stuck into. Coffee Talk comes onto home PC and all of the usual consoles January 30th, and if you fancy a quick play to check it out, there's a demo to try with a link to it down in the description. Up next at number 9, The White Door grabbed our attention during last year's Gamescom and comes out this January 9th. This is the latest offering from Rusty Lake, where your character finds himself within what appears to be a mental health facility, where you repeat the same tasks on demand day after day. As you play, you dive into your character's dreams to help him unlock his memory, and by doing so you add more colour to what begins as a simple and yet striking black and white coloured world. You can find this on PCs via Steam and also on iOS and Android mobile platforms. At number 8, and coming out in early access towards the tail end of the month, we have Not for Broadcast. Set within an alternate 1980s where the nation is sliding towards dystopia, you take command of the production gallery of the national nightly news, and it's up to you to decide what to broadcast to the nation. As you can perhaps guess, Not for Broadcast is an immersive, narrative-driven propaganda live television simulation. While launching in early access with 3 parts, the full game will have 10 in total, with the team using the rest of the development cycle, estimated at a further 18 months, to further iterate the gameplay and create additional content. Essentially, of course, this is work as gameplay as seen in, say, the likes of Papers, Please. Okay, so that's a stretch of comparison, although having played the available demo, there's plenty of potential if the team are able to build on what's already here and act on the feedback from players that will no doubt come from those taking this up when it launches on Steam this January 30th. A Long Way Down also comes out in early access January 16th and takes this month's number 7 position. Taking inspiration from games such as Darkest Dungeon, Slay the Spire and Hand of Fate, this deck builder comes with RPG elements and sees you look to guide your character through a maze filled with secrets, fellow travellers and of course enemies to see away. Scheduled to be in early access for between 6 to 8 months, the developers are promising player feedback will further help shape how the game all comes together, with the full version being far greater than the 3 or so hours of play it currently offers. Up now at number 6, Orangeblood pops its way onto PCs on January 14th, with it also coming to consoles at some point in the second quarter. The game takes place within an alternate version of late 20th century Japan. Here criminal gangs have taken over and you play a character called Vanilla, a prisoner of one of these gangs who can earn freedom by undertaking a secret mission. Along the way you'll build a fierce and formidable crew of like-minded companions as you fight against mobsters, gangsters, other prisoners and robots looking to give you and your pals an old-fashioned hiding. We're intrigued how the game's combat will hold up given it's turn-based, and how you're also able to loot and pick up randomly generated weaponry throughout the game. We're also really looking forward to seeing how the soundtrack, inspired by late 90s hip-hop, all builds this one together. There's something a little different about Orangeblood, and on the Switch, we can see this getting a fair amount of traction. halfway through this month's countdown, and here we have MindSeize, which comes out onto Steam. In this 2D single-player Metroidvania, you play as MC Fox, a private eye looking to take down a dangerous criminal organisation called the Ascended. In a slight twist to the norm, after a previous encounter with the Ascended's leader where you were paralysed, you've since uploaded your consciousness into a robotic body with which to carry on the chase. It comes with more than 10 hours of gameplay, and via the use of the robot player character, it should afford all sorts of upgrades and adaptations to aid the platforming and combat, which seems smooth but with a lively pace. We're also looking forward to getting deeper into the overall story, which the developers say has far more to offer than most sort of games like this. Now this is a big claim to make, and we'll be sure to pick this one up when it launches this January 30th. At number 4 we have Skellboy, in what's probably the cutest looking Zelda-type action RPG to launch over the course of the month. The kingdom's court magician has been dumped by his lover, and in a fit of rage and temper, he's gone about using malign spirits to raise the kingdom's long-time dead evil human monsters. Although unbeknown to him at the time, his magic has also brought back a fellow called Skippy, who happens to be one of the heroes of old who quickly sets about trying to restore peace and order. Given Skippy's a skeleton, this action RPG has a nice little twist, inasmuch you're able to customize the character and swap out body parts with which to better equip dear Skippy to help him achieve any of the game's given goals. While this might look all a bit strange, there's a cheekiness at play here which makes us think in this game, well, it's not trying to take itself all that seriously, which is a fine change of pace. Taking the number 3 spot, Cook Serve Delicious 3 is, like its predecessors, all about cooking fine food within high-stress environments. So not all too dissimilar to working a line service within any given kitchen, albeit without the war-torn environmental backstory that's at play here. Set within 2024 America, the new version mixes and matches up elements of the first 2 games while adding a full story on top of the gameplay mechanics. With single-player and couch co-op options, there are quite literally hundreds of different recipes you're able to pull together. Some, of course, requiring you to upgrade your equipment in your food truck as you make your way across the country to Tennessee, the nation's new capital, and to once again prove to everybody you're the best chef in the world. This comes out in early access at some point in the month and has a full release expected in Q3 later in the year.
Welcome to the world of Temtem, a massively multiplayer creature-collecting game filled with friends, foes, and dozens of Temtem to find and tame.
Up now, and this month's runner-up. Well, there's no way we can introduce this game without saying that while this is not a Pokemon game, it sure does look and play like one. However, it's not like the team behind Temtem are trying to hide this. A quick glance at the game's Steam homepage, and you'll find a little note to say that it's a creature collection adventure game directly inspired by Pokemon. So there you go. As could be expected, this game sees you travel around a brightly coloured world with capture, trading, and battle elements, and just about anything else you would find within a legitimate Pokemon title. Aimed squarely at fans of this type of experience looking for an MMO, you'll play within a persistent world, meaning it's all the same for you as well as the other players you come across. As could also be expected in a game such as this, you'll have the option to customise your player while also being able to decorate and build a home of your own. It's here you'll be able to invite friends across to visit within the co-op options, kind of like what you're able to do within Animal Crossing. Don't fret if you're looking for a single player option, Temtem has this too, although for our money, we'd spend pretty much all our time within the multiplayer. Temtem is due out on Steam in early access on January 21st, with plans also for it to come to all of the usual consoles at a time that's still to be advised.
The synergy system allows...
Our number 1 indie game out this January 2020, first featured here on the channel back in early 2017, when we covered it for our now retired Kickstarter series. This side-scrolling puzzler uses well-known public signage and their symbols to build what are essentially platforming sections that have you moving and creating a path towards the level's exit. You can move the signs around the screen in any order, connecting them with lines as you play as the human figure. It's all honestly great fun and just that little bit different from what we've seen within the puzzle platforming world for a while. If you're not convinced, well, you can download a demo via the game's itch.io website, which gives you around 15 minutes of playtime. You can find the link down in the description below. So which games are you most looking forward to playing this January 2020? Let us know down in the comments or on Twitter, where you can find us at the @GetIndieGaming handle. If you've liked these selections, please click the like button, and if you haven't done so already, subscribing to the channel with the notification bell turned on is the best way to stay up to date with all of our indie game videos. Many thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you all again here soon for more videos.